Now, bringing you the very best in New Hampshire-based local music on IPMNation.com and 100.1 The Planet, this is Local Outbreak. Joining us on the program today in this hour, we have Bruce from Legion of Solace. How are you, Bruce?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very well. I have to tell you, it's funny, and I have to assume that you run into this sometimes. When you first started showing up in our Facebook live chat during the show, I assumed Legion of Solace was a band.
We do run into that quite a bit, yes.
And of course, you are not a band, but you work with a lot of bands. Can you tell us about what you do?
Absolutely. We do a lot of marketing, advertising, and promoting for local, independent, and unsigned bands, countrywide, worldwide. We have a audience on Facebook that spans U.S., Canada, as far around the world as Iceland, Germany, South Africa, Australia. And the best part about that is music is universal. Doesn't matter what language you speak the language of music.
Right.
So the international exposure is beautiful because some of these bands may never have that opportunity outside of their state. And now people 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 miles away are hearing their music for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's our honor to do that. We've become a networking hub. So some bands have actually played with others. They're starting to travel the country because they've met through us. For example, Nailbite out of Pennsylvania has come to Maine and played gigs with Sepsis.
Yeah.
Sepsis has gone to Pennsylvania and played gigs with Nailbite because we were speaking. I was talking with Sepsis at one of their shows, and I had a Nailbite shirt on, and they were asking me about Nailbite because they were starting to hear a buzz about them a couple years ago when they had first came out. They played Blue Ridge Rock Festival down in Virginia.
Yeah.
And for a teenage band, they just wowed everybody. So they were like, "Oh well, so you know about Nailbite?" And I was like, "Yeah." So they were wanting to get booking information and such. They also have gone down to Virginia, and Sepsis has, and played some gigs with a band called Dying Oath. And then they've come up to New England and done some gigs to reciprocate.
Yeah.
And it's just all about supporting the scene. Our next step is to get through the red tape in New England and get to where we can start actually booking shows and providing stages ourselves.
Yeah.
And right now, our biggest thing is we provide financial sponsorship directly to the bands and also to their events. So say they're $200 short for a round of merchandise. For a year, we cover that $200, and all we ask in return is whenever you do an event flyer, you put our logo real small, like 1 inch by 1 inch on the corner somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
You support us, we support you. Now you get your merch for your table. Everybody gets to make some money.
Right. Yeah. Excellent. How long is Legion of Solace existed, and how did it come into being?
It came into being. Our founder and her husband are in Princeton, West Virginia. Our co-founder is in Lynchburg, Virginia. That's Malcolm Wood.
Oh yes. Yep.
And we originally started as a mosh pit team.
Really?
Like vests, patches, and everything.
Yeah.
And we had decided to move into the business realm. We were actually one of the title sponsors for the 2021 Blue Ridge Rock Festival.
Okay.
There was 156 bands over 4 days.
Oh, wow.
I want to say it was 140,000 people total through the turnstiles.
Jeez, wow.
So that great way to debut.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was actually where we found Nailbite and a couple other bands. And and it was at that point that we had decided, instead of spending that kind of money on a one-off exposure, that's going to the promoter and not to the band and musicians themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We should start aligning ourselves with the bands and musicians directly. Start doing financial support that way.
Yeah.
Because that way we know for a fact it's getting back to the local scene. It's not being absorbed into somebody's pocket. It's not going into a corporate budget. It's going into somebody's gas tank to get to the next gig.
Right. Starting something like that and doing it, I feel like, I mean, I'm old enough, of course, to remember when, there was no internet. And when I first started being active in the music scene, I mean, at that point we had MySpace. That was like the first real, online networking thing that was available to musicians. And beyond that, I mean, that was kind of it in the beginning for my experience. But I feel like, it would be very hard to do what you're doing with Legion of Solace, say 20 years ago, because, just the internet has given us this ability to, as you alluded to earlier, people from all over the world can hear music from anywhere else in the world, which is, so we have that. But also in terms of promoting and networking, it seems like, there was a time when to do what you're doing would have been close to impossible, really.
Yeah. We do rely quite a bit on social media.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing about social media and its ability to promote is it has opened so many closed doors to the local music scene. Mm-hmm. Because there have been so many gatekeepers and industry standards in the way for so long that if you didn't look a certain way, sound a certain way, were in a certain age demographic, you weren't going to get as much of a chance at studio time or radio play or getting out of your garage.
Right.
And if it's anything we know, anybody that's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame started in somebody's garage.
Sure.
So never give up hope.
Yeah. Well, I always say, too, and I don't know how much you know about what I do professionally, but I'm a college radio promoter, so clients hire me to send their music to college stations. And what I tell everybody is, I've worked on some projects that were pretty far out of the mainstream. But what I always say, and this has kind of been my point of view from the beginning, is that my theory is there's an audience for anything, no matter how strange, no matter how unusual, how outside of the mainstream it might be, no matter how quote unquote alternative, although that term kind of became a catch-all during the grunge era for anything that wasn't hair metal, but
That's true.
automatically was labeled alternative. But but I believe there's an audience for anything. It's just a matter of figuring out how to not so much connect directly with them, because you don't know exactly necessarily where to go to connect with them. But this is how I think of it. But figuring out how to be in a place where they can find you, because the audience is there, no matter what it is you're doing, no matter how it might be very, very niche, but the audience is there.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of getting into a position where they can find you, and the internet, of course, has made that much, much easier.
Right. And that's partially where we're trying to come in is, say you're a national touring act. 2 weeks from now you're going to be in a certain area, and you just had an opening act back out, or you had a venue ask for an extra 90 minutes from your bill, and you need to book local support. Mm-hmm. That's when you come to Legion of Solace, see who's on our Facebook page, who's posting, who's active in the area, and now they get to come open for a national act because they shared a video 2 weeks ago on the Legion of Solace extended family page.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anything and everything we can do to give support and exposure, that's what we're here for. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. You mentioned Nailbite, and you sent us some music to feature today, and that's one of the bands that you sent us. I think since we were talking about them, we should play one of their tracks. Which one should I mean? We'll probably have time to get both of them in, but do you have a preference? Do they have a single that they're pushing? Their newest single is "The Heart."
Okay, let's give that one a spin, And now you said they're really young. They're teenagers.
Yes, the lead singer Lana, I want to say she's about to turn 17 this year.
Okay.
The guitarist is in his early 20s. The keyboardist is actually Lana's brother, and he'll be 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And the bassist is the guitarist's dad, so it's very much a family affair. And if I remember correctly, they might be looking for a drummer, as the former drummer just recently got engaged and, as you would expect, changed his life priorities a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's still very much a friend of the band, part of the Nailbite family. He's just kind of stepping away from the touring and such of it.
Oh, okay. Whenever I hear something like that, I think of you remember the band Crossfade?
I do.
They were huge for like 5 minutes because they had that song "So Cold,"
Yes.
and then Tony Byroads left the band because he got married, and it's like you're famous. You're gonna throw all this away just because like you can't be married and be in a band at the same time,
Right.
like lots of famous musicians are married, but for whatever reason he's like, oh, I'm getting married, I gotta go. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Sometimes you instantly prioritize like family related over musical related.
Yeah.
If that's where your heart lies.
Yeah. I can't judge anyone's choices, but maybe his wife would have liked to have been married to a rock star, and all of a sudden he didn't want to be a rock star anymore.
It's a
weird.
good possibility.
Yeah. All right, well, let's give this a listen. So this is Nailbite, and this is called The Heart.
All my mistakes, I
Oh, that is really good. That is
Wow.
Nail Bite. The track is called The Heart. And we have Bruce here from Legion of Solace. And Bruce, you were saying while that track was playing that because, okay, so you get to the part where the growling and stuff, and you think, okay, so they also have one of the dudes in the band is also does some vocals. And then you were telling us, no, that's Lana. That's all Lana.
Actually, both are true. So the higher of the two dirty, the cleaner of the two dirty vocals is actually the guitarist, Johnny.
Okay.
And then the deep guttural growl is coming from Lana. That sweet voice that you hear has a dark side.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. I love it. Excellent. Hey, how did we're very close friends with Sepsis, of course, and they've been on the show many times, and we love them. How did you get connected with them?
They had a show a few years ago that was supposed to be opening for OTEP across the street over here at Jewel.
At Jewel, yeah.
And when OTEP backed out because of COVID and everything, Sepsis reached out and asked if the bill could honor the date. And she gave her blessing. So that, and if I remember right, that show was Bad Tude 16 by 20 Inverter and Sepsis.
Yeah.
And that was actually the first time I had been to a show as Legion of Solace. Like that was maybe 6 months after we had founded. And that was when I was like, all right, I'm the only one here in New England. I should probably start meeting some people.
Yeah.
And Sepsis was actually the very first band I met professionally.
Oh, no
in
kidding.
New England.
No kidding. Wow.
And we hit it off really well.
Yeah.
And we've built from just kind of seeing each other at shows to we are full on business affiliates now.
Excellent. Yeah. They do a remarkable job in terms of networking and
they do,
and connecting people, bringing people together. And the positivity is remarkable. And we'll play the single Romance and Reality in a moment. And Jenny pointed out to me the other day that the new video is out.
Oh, yes. I love it.
And and the video is really cool. So we love Sepsis. Let's give this a spin.
This has been running in my head all week.
Yeah. This is such a great track. And by the way, if you're just joining us, we have Bruce from Legion of Solace here with us live in studio, and we're talking and we're playing some tunes. And check this out if you haven't heard it already. This is not a world radio premiere, of course, because we first played this on the show a few months ago. But the new video is out. Check it out on YouTube. But here it is: Sepsis, Romance and Reality.
Illusion, I can't wait to lose my
That is Romance and Reality. That is the newest single from Sepsis, and the new video just came out, what was it, a few days ago, right?
Yeah.
It's available now?
I want to say it was Monday this week.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That is, check that out on YouTube. Really, really good. And if you are just joining us, we have Bruce from Legion of Solace here with us live in studio. Bruce, is there a particular band that you work with a lot more than the others, or I mean, is there sort of do you have sort of a marquee talent that you work with? You know what I mean? That kind of takes priority in terms of what you do for these artists.
Not really. Of course, the more active an artist or a band is, the more content we will have to share from them. So it will kind of skew that direction.
Yeah.
But if you're doing 2 or 3 shows a month, then we're pushing 2 or 3 shows a month for you. There's no like different tiers or levels of representation or anything like that. If you're family, you're family.
Yeah, yeah. And what is sort of the criteria in terms of people that you work with? Because I would imagine, being in your position with what you do, you probably occasionally, or maybe more than occasionally, hear from someone who really wants you to work with them, but maybe they're not ready. Maybe they're not quite at a place where you know, maybe they just need to rehearse more or whatever it is, you know.
For the most part, myself, Malcolm, Tuesday, and Evan, we kind of work independently. But when we get something that we're not sure about personally, we'll have them either go to our website, legionofsolace.com, or we have the QR codes on our business cards, and we'll just have them scan that, and we have an artist submission area.
Okay.
And then you can like send us audio files or video files, and then we'll just kind of sit down as the brain trust and jury something if we're kind of on the fence with it.
Yeah, yeah. But you occasionally, I assume, you have to turn somebody away now and then, right?
On occasion, yeah. I mean, we try not to.
Yeah.
But and a lot of time, it's not necessarily a talent level issue. It's more of a production value issue of the recordings.
Yes.
Yeah. Because you could be the greatest band in the world, but if it sounds like you're on a carbon mic from the 20s and your drummer's in the bathroom stall, we are not going to hear your talent level.
Right.
So that's the best thing I can give anybody, even if you're just recording in your own basement.
Oh, yeah.
Staple egg crates to the wall.
Right.
Kill sound vibration. Kill distortion. Try to record when your neighbor's not mowing their lawn, for instance. Little things like that will even affect the background. Background noise is background noise. Absolutely.
And it's, I almost hate to say it because it's such a cliche, but it is true. You only get one chance to make a first impression. And if the first impression that you're giving to somebody in the music industry who's a professional, if you're giving them something that sounds terrible, that's not a great first impression. You want to give them something of quality. Absolutely. You also mentioned Inverter earlier in the conversation, and I do love this track, Bow to Zod.
Oh, they are so fun. And I got to be part of the creation of that album, Sonic Vandalism, that came out last September. They did a bit of a fundraiser campaign, and for a certain donation. Yep. I believe there was 8 of us total. On the last, I think it's the last song on the album. It's called "You've Been Warned." Okay. There's a gang shout. So in the chorus, it comes through, and there's a shout of the word "bleed." Yeah. And so they brought us in, told us what we wanted to do. So it was kind of like a VIP experience, if you will. We got to go hang out at the studio for a while. Yeah. We'll watch them lay down. Bill Bracken was doing some of the guitar parts. Jeff was doing some of the drums. And then we all went in for 15, 20 minutes. I think we did 2 or 3 takes. Yeah. And they took the best one and then put everything in. So we're actually We actually made the album.
Oh, that's really cool.
But Baltazar Deke, the front man from Inverter, he's actually an old radio man himself. He was part of the VCN family.
Oh, we had quite the conversation.
Oh, nice.
We had him on the show. He called in from Boston, and not only did we talk about the band, but of course, me being a radio nerd,
right.
I had to ask him all kinds of questions about his career, his radio career as well. Yeah.
So because of that, he's a just massive comic book geek.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And of course, the Superman villain Zod, and so Baltazar is actually a play on Kneel Before Zod.
Yeah.
So that's kind of his nod to the old school comic geekdom, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. I never got into comic books, but of course I remember Superman too.
Absolutely.
When the three of them land on Earth,
Oh,
they say kneel before Zod.
The big piece of glass shattering over the mountain.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, let's give this a listen. This is great. I think this is one of the tracks we played when Deke was on the show, and definitely good stuff. This is Bow to Zod from the band Inverter. Bow to Zod from Inverter, the album Sonic Vandalism. Great nice. Boston band. We are talking with Bruce from Legion of Solace, and Jenny reminded us while that song was on, we wanted to talk about the logo, the creation of your logo, which is very cool for Legion of Solace.
That's, sorry, Jen.
For those who can't see, as you're listening on your lovely radios, there is an awesome phoenix on this shirt. And it has writing on it that says support local music and Legion of Solace. Now, the cool part is How did you come up with that?
So Tuesday, our founder, she wanted something unique, and our motto is "We rise to conquer together." So what better to rise with than a phoenix? And as she was designing it, she was kind of kicking some ideas around for a few months, and it dawned on her: the tail feathers should be musical. So the tail feathers of the phoenix are actually a bar staff fanning out with music notes falling from it.
Ah,
Nice.
very cool.
And
That is super cool.
as soon as the rest of us saw it, we were like, "That's that's the one, dude. Don't lose that file."
Right, right, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, that is so cool. So you were very kind and brought us both T-shirts.
Yes, yes.
So, and I
Absolutely.
had to pick it back up and look, and it is a great idea. The tail feather of the phoenix is a music staff with notes.
And that symbolizes music being the muse of the rise.
I love this. I love everything about it. I love Phoenix anyway.
Yeah, she does.
When I first started getting a little bit better in painting, one of my first better paintings was a phoenix,
Nice.
symbolic of myself.
Sure.
And because they're always on fire, and that connects to CRPS,
Yeah.
which is what I have. You know, there's that connection. And I'm a University of Phoenix grad.
There you
I have
go.
a degree. But I love the shirt. I really do. I love that it says support local music. This is going to be one of my new favorite T-shirts. I can tell you that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't wait to wear this one. I really love it.
We've got you sent us as we talked about earlier. You sent us some music, and tell us what can you tell us about this band Fractured Reality?
Fractured Reality is very impressive. They're intended to be a three-piece. They're currently missing a bass player. So if you are in the Massachusetts, Connecticut area, and if you are very thrash metal minded, they are a teenage band. So they're asking for 13 to 20-year-old musicians. If you play bass, reach out to Logan. He is the lead singer and drummer of Fractured Reality through Facebook. You just, either Facebook or their Bandcamp.
Okay.
And also on their Bandcamp is where you can find their debut single or their debut album. But I met them and also a band called Living Wreckage. January, the band Dead by Wednesday.
Yes.
Opus.
Yeah.
Know them well. Yeah.
Opus, their drummer. I went down to the Blizzard birthday bash down in New Haven down at Toad's place as Sepsis was playing that evening. So I went down to support them, take some pictures for the evening.
Yeah.
And Fractured Reality opened the evening. And when you're at a 6.5 hour event and the very first band pulls over 100 people into the room,
Oh, wow.
you pay attention.
Yes. Yes.
And then when they have that old school thrash sound that us old heads have been craving to have back since the young Exodus Testament days,
yeah.
they bring this back for you.
Yeah.
And the fact that Logan is only 14 years old,
Wow.
playing thrash drums and singing is
Get
just
out, he
amazing
sings?
to me.
Jeez.
Yes, the drummer is the vocalist.
See, that is so talented. You don't
Yeah.
see that many drummers that sing. 'Cause it is an amazing skill.
Well, and especially in a thrash band, because there's so much concentration going on at playing 160 to 220 BPM anyway.
Right.
So
How do you do that? Where
Hey.
do you breathe?
well, I tell people your brain has to work like an octopus. Each brain has to know how to keep time and keep a different count.
Yeah.
Because like, especially in thrash metal, your feet might be playing 12-12, but your left hand's playing 4-4 and your right hand's playing 8-8.
Yeah.
And people that are watching are going, "What are you? Is that 32-32? What are you
Right.
doing over there?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's tell you what. Let's play both of these. So we've got "Live for the End" by Fractured Reality, and you also mentioned "Living Wreckage." We've got this song "Sink Below," and I really like both of these. We'll play these both. Anything else you want to tell us about "Living Wreckage"?
Living Wreckage, great 5-piece. They're out of East Hampton, Massachusetts. If you guys like what you hear, April 5th, they're going to be at the Park City Music Hall in Bridgeport, Connecticut. They're opening up for the all-female Iron Maiden tribute band, the Iron Maidens.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
So that'll be a fun night.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So we'll give both of these a listen. First, Fractured Reality, and then Living Wreckage. Great stuff. Check this out.
in yourself. He doesn't care, he's full of himself.
Oh, I love that. That is Sink
That was
Below.
great.
Sink Below by the band Living Wreckage. And before that, we heard Live for the End by, what band was that, Bruce?
That was Fractured Reality.
Fractured Reality. We're listening to a lot of music today with, we have Bruce from Legion of Solace here with us live in studio. Almost out of time, but if you have a question or anything at all for Bruce, get on in, 603-250-6007. The studio line is open, 603-250-6007. Coming up at the top of the hour, we have Joe Marrero, I think is how you say his last name, from the band The Great Fraud, is going to be calling in from New York City. Do you know those guys at all? Do you know the Great Fraud?
I didn't until a couple days ago. And
Yeah.
When I saw you post about them, the first thing I did was like, ooh, homework.
Yeah.
Great sound.
Yeah.
Absolutely great sound.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're really cool.
I'm excited for all the artists that you have. I'm excited to see what keep bringing them to us.
Yeah.
I certainly
Bring them
hope
on
to.
in here.
I
We'd love
certainly
to.
hope
We'd love to. I want to take a quick moment to say hi to everybody in the chat room. Hello, Carol Zawalski, Sepsis, woo woo. Melanie is around, and she says she's going to be spreading some paganism in Florida. We all love her.
All right. Very good.
Shout outs to Riley King, Kyle Clayton, Glenn R.J. Roulette.
Oh, wow. The People's Mayor. Very good.
So that means if we have a Florida man story in the next 2 or 3 days, we know who to blame.
Melanie.
Well, that's a given anywhere she goes. And she did bring Sal with her. Sal is her miniature skeleton.
Okay.
Who is her, would you call it her familiar maybe? Or something, yes.
Very
Likes
nice.
to bring in places and take fun pictures.
Bruce, before we run out of time in the hour, I want to make sure, especially for people who are just joining us, I want to make sure everybody knows how to find you, how to find Legion of Solace, especially, of course, anyone who's interested in having you work with them.
Sure.
And all that good stuff.
The easiest places to find us are on Facebook, Legion of Solace, and at www.legionofsolace.com.
Well, that's easy.
I'm going to drop that right into the chat room.
Yes.
And if you feel inclined to support our endeavors, if you click on our menu tab and on the drop down you click Legion Alley, we have a full merchandise store with roughly 80 to 100 pieces to choose from. Regular accessories, men's, women's, children's, unisex. We have everything that might cover your needs.
Excellent. Very
And they're
good.
awesome T-shirts.
And they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for the shirts. We appreciate that very much.
Absolutely.
And
I
we
love that they say support local music right across it.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what we're all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we really appreciate you being here with us today. We're actually going to close. You had sent us another Nailbite song, "Endless," and that's the one we'll close out the segment with. But Bruce, thank you again, and we're going to close with this track, "Endless," from the band Nailbite. Is there anybody we didn't play? We got all the bands covered, right? That you sent us.
I believe we did. Yes.
Just making sure. Okay, very good. And by the way, we love being exposed to all this new music. I had not heard Nailbite before today or Living Wreckage, and
Both were
just-
awesome.
It's great stuff. And by the way, too, we should mention, just because we were talking about this off air, if you're someone who thinks that there's no new music out there, maybe you're an older person, because we were talking about how people get stuck in their eras. There is so much great stuff. Oh, what did you say, Bruce? You used an expression.
You can't be afraid to get your shoes dirty to find good music.
There you go.
I like
go.
that.
Your favorite dive bar, your local dive bar, the hole in the wall that you never thought to go in, just might have the next Metallica hiding in it.
Exactly. And you really don't even have to get your shoes dirty because of the internet. You can,
Right.
You can sit at your computer and find new stuff.
Absolutely.
So don't get trapped in what era you grew up in. There are people, no matter what kind of music you're into, there are new bands, new artists, or maybe established artists that you just didn't know about before making music right now that would probably really appeal to you. So don't get stuck in your bubble. All right, that's our lesson for today. I shouldn't say that's our lesson for today because I say it all the time. I bring up, I know my dad appreciates when I mention this. My father is in his 70s. And he lives on the seacoast, and he listens to WUNH, the great college radio station there, because he loves hearing new stuff. So you don't have to get stuck in a particular period of time. But so we will end with this, "Endless" from Nailbite, Bruce from Legion of Solace. Thank you again, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
You got it.